Hi, welcome to Salt City Knits. I'm Emily, and this is a podcast all about my making life. You can find me on Ravelry as Salt City Knits, on Instagram as Salt City Knits and Yarnbrary, and all my patterns and yarn are available at yarnbrary.com. My patterns are also on Ravelry. You would think that after doing this every single time that I would just have it memorized. I would just rattle it off instead of having to think about it. But no, that's not how I roll. So all of those links are down below, but that's how you can find me. So welcome back. If you are a returning viewer, I really appreciate you coming back and watching. And if you're brand new, thanks for joining me. Those of you who are returning, you're going to notice something different about my appearance. I cut off about, 8 inches and dyed my hair to match my roots. What a novel concept. So I'm trying to go more natural, although this looks very unnatural to me because I have been blonde for as long as I can remember. So big changes. I think I like it. Still trying to decide. I like the length for sure. Still trying to decide on the color because it still feels like I'm wearing somebody else's hair, but there you go. That's how it is. Today I have, let's see, what do I have? Little bit of life update. There's not a lot to report. And I have works in progress. I don't have a ton that I can show you or just a ton to show because the big news is Richard and I have been working our little heinies off on getting the Orchard House Christmas boxes ready to ship, and those are shipping this week. And so there's been a lot of time going into those, and I love them so much. I love how they're coming together. I am so excited for those of you who ordered them to get them. I will be recording an opening video to show what each week is going to look like. And so I will post that. I plan on doing Vlogmas in December. And as part of that, I will post the reveal. So even those of you who didn't order, you can kind of join in on the fun and see what was included. And yeah, I'm just really, really excited about them. You know, after doing the Gilbert Blythe and Anne Shirley sets, the Fall in Love and Avonlea kits, and then this Orchard House, which is Little Women inspired boxed sets, where I'm including yarn and patterns that I've designed and some other little extra elements. I think this is my favorite thing to do. It's my favorite thing to sell is the yarn with the pattern designed specifically to go with it and all based on the book themes. I don't know why it's taken me so long. I've kind of had my pattern designing in this box in my mind and my yarn dyeing in this box in my mind. And it's taken me, for some reason, it's taken me a long time for those to come together. And all of a sudden they're starting to click together and I'm just so happy with it. I'm really enjoying it. So you will definitely see more of that coming up from me. So again, with life update, that's really all that we've been doing is working. Is there anything else that we've done? We had Halloween. We're not big Halloween people. I love the fall, absolutely love the fall. And so I enjoy that element of it. And I love having the kids come by for trick-or-treating and seeing them, kind of the community aspect of it. I really like. I am not into horror and grody stuff and anything that's kind of evil themed. So it's just not really our biggest thing, but it was fun because Aria and Michael brought our grandson over, brought Adam by to see us. And so here's some pictures of them in their costumes. I know Aria and Michael were Gravity Falls themed, but I have not watched that. So those of you who have watched Gravity Falls will recognize it. I am not familiar. They were cute. And Adam was in a pink fluffy pig costume and he was adorable. He was so cute. It was funny though, because Aria said, everybody keeps thinking he's a girl. And I'm like, well, I can't imagine why. He's in this big fluffy pink costume. It reminded me of Ralphie from A Christmas Story in the pink bunny suit. But Adam loved it. He thought it was cozy and fun to play in, and it was cute. He's starting to take some steps here and there, not consistently walking, but definitely getting braver and trying it out. And it's just so much fun. So that was really lovely. Let's see, I've been still baking a lot of bread, so that's been great too. Although I almost killed my sourdough starter. I have been so busy this last week that I just honestly completely forgot about it. And it's been sitting starving on my counter, not even in the fridge, on my counter. And I opened it the other day and I'm like, whoo, that is a strong vinegar smell. And it looked dead. So I've been babying it, and I think that it's coming back to life because I fed it twice yesterday. I fed it in the morning, and by nighttime, it really didn't look like it had done anything. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to feed it tonight. And if there's signs of life in the morning, then we're going to still keep going. Otherwise, I'm going to just have to get some starter from my sister or my friend Margaret. But there were signs of life. So I think that I'm going to keep feeding it twice a day I'm feeding it with small feeds twice a day, until it's looking really happy again. And then we'll get back to baking with it. But I've been doing a lot of yeasted breads. I made some amazing apple pie cinnamon rolls with homemade diced apple pie filling and a brioche dough and cream cheese icing. Yeah, they were pretty much amazing. They were so good. And I hesitate to even tell you this. I am not like, I'm a baker. I am not one of those bakers or cooks that can tell you exactly how I made something. I understand the concepts of cooking and the concepts of baking. And if I'm baking something like quick breads or cakes or cookies or something where I'm relying on a chemical raising agent, like baking powder, then I measure everything exactly. But when you're making bread, that you have to know dough. And so I don't know that I could share the perfect, like the exact recipe with anybody. But anyway, same thing with making the pie filling. I just made it. So anyway, but it was really delicious. So the baking has been really fun. What else has been going on? I mean, we've been already starting heavily into Heroic Youth, planning for next year for our nonprofit. And that's plenty to be getting on with. So yeah. All right, let's talk about my works in progress. So I have a little bit of progress on my little vest for my grandson. So it's not a ton. It doesn't look a lot different. It's just a little bit longer in the body. Mostly because most of my knitting time I've been focusing on another project, but I have picked this up a few different times. And again, I am using the Peanut Vest pattern by Tin Can Knits for the measurements, but this chart, I did not use the colorwork chart included with the Tin Can Knits Peanut Vest, which is a darling chart. I just wanted to do something a little different. So this is just one of the little cards from the Winter Doodle Deck by Pacific Knit Co. I just really like that little kind of argyle almost pattern. I am using Biography Sock by Yarnbrary, that's me, in the Eliot colorway for the main color, and I'm holding it double. This is a DK weight pattern, but I had already started, for those of you who have followed this, I had been knitting another vest pattern that I decided I didn't like and pulled out. So I already had the fingering weight yarn. And so I am using that held double. I think I definitely am going to need to break into a second skein, but that's okay. I've got that. And then this color is Parchment, also on Biography Sock, Yarnbrary Parchment. So that is where I am. And I'm supposed to have 10 inches before splitting for the underarm, or yeah, separating for the underarms. Let's see where we are. Where's my little thingy-majigger? You know, the thingy. What am I trying to say? Tape measure. There it is. So we are at, don't fall over. Six and a half inches. So I have 3.5 inches to go. That seems a little bit large. I think I'm gonna go to 9 inches. But so cute. It's just been one where I've been working on other things. So once I can get back to it, it will go fairly quickly to finish that up. And that is going to be for Christmas. Again, I think I talked about this bag last time, but I love this linen bag by Sherry Iris. Okay, I also finally did cast on another pair of Christmas socks. So this will be pair number 6 out of 10. And I am doing, this is going to be for my daughter-in-law, this pair. Super cute yarn. This is a mini that I just had in my stash and I don't know who it was from. It was already wound up into a ball, but it was 20 grams. And so it looked really good. And then the main color, the yarn is this self-striping yarn, and it is by Twinkly Knits. It's a 75-25 merino wool blend or merino nylon blend. And there is no color listed on here. I will look it up and see. I bought this on Etsy and I will look it up and see if I can find the color name. But I think it's cute. It's just kind of like little narrow self-striping. And it's turning out really cute. This pattern, this sock, I am knitting a 60 stitch sock. And I am, because of the self-striping pattern, and because it's a narrow pattern, it seems the kind that would be it'll easily look dramatically different at a different circumference. And so I'm not going to do a heel flap and gusset, which I typically will do even on self-striping yarns, but only if they're a little bit wider stripes, because yeah, the stripes will get a little narrower, but it won't truly like interrupt. This could end up just turning into pooling instead of striping. And so I'm doing an afterthought heel. And so I'll probably put the heel in right about here. So I'm actually not, this will not take too long. I'm just going to knit the tube, then put the toe in. And I don't think I've got enough yarn. I have to weigh this. I haven't yet, but I'm going to weigh this little bit of green. I don't know that that's enough. Depending on how much I have, I may put the heels in that. But I also have I have my Seuss colorway I've got a bunch of, and it's a little more lime green. And so that's probably what I'll end up using for the heels. But I'll do the toes and the cuffs in the red. And it's kind of a orangey red, but I think it looks really good with that. So those are coming along. And look at this cute Candy Shop Yarns bag. So fun. That bag actually belongs to Abby. It's her bag, but I stole it, just like she steals all my stuff. She wasn't using it. All right, now, the project I've been putting most of my time into is my Stephen West Mystery Knit Along shawl. I am not finished, but I am knocking on the door of being done. I kept thinking, oh, I'm going to finish it and then I'll be able to show it on the podcast completed. But I really wanted to record and not let it get too much longer. And we've got so much work to do this week that I don't know if I'm going to finish it this week. So I have finished everything except for the final border. And I am about halfway done on that. So of course not blocked, but here is what I have got. And it is a beauty. Look at this section up here. Isn't that fun? I love it. There's some really fun details here. Well, here, let's start with this. With these kind of He's calling them tiny baubles. I think they look like string of pearls. Aren't they fun? And then you've got these stitches here that's all done with slip stitches. And that alternates. And then this is where we cast on. This was the original thing that we started with, were these half circles, these right here. There were the 3 semicircles. So now I am down here working on this border, and this border is going to be quite wavy. It's a little bit feather and fan-esque in that we're not really doing any decreases. So typical feather and fan or old shale, you increase in certain sections and then decrease in certain sections, and it gives you this, like, you know, scallop out and then a scallop in, scallop out, etc. This one, we're just doing the increases, but that helps because it's on a border. Sorry, this is really hard to show. So in these sections, we're doing some yarn over increases in the pink sections. And so you can see how it's going to give it kind of this effect. Every time that you've got one of these, you've got this scallop that's going to come out from it in these stripes. So I think I'm supposed to finish this blue, do a pink, then do another blue and another pink, and then end with a blue section. So I've done one pink, one blue, one pink. So then blue, pink, blue, pink, blue. But these are long, 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 long rows at the end of this. So it is taking me some time, but goodness gracious, I'm really enjoying it. And in the end, I decided not to include mohair at all in the shawl, and I don't miss it at all. I feel like for this specific one, for me, I'm just really happy with what has been included. And the mohair was always an optional thing. It wasn't something that was inherent to the design. I think it's just one of those things where people typically like to kind of hack the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along and make their own adjustments to it and add in mohair here and there, or add in another crazy contrast color or something, which is so fun. I love looking at the photos and seeing the way that people personalize these things. It's really inspiring to me. I know a lot of people did some fun color additions in this border because it worked this way. And so it was easy to just stick like one scallop of a different color or different things like that in, and one wedge. And yeah, so that's really fun. And so I think just because people do that mohair dare kind of thing, he kind of made it official this time, but it was never considered part of the original design. It was just an optional thing. And I've seen other people's that I think is really pretty, but for me, I just don't miss it at all in this shawl. And I'm just thinking how often I'm gonna wear this. This navy blue sweater is kind of like it's one of my favorite things. It's just a commercially made sweater too. It's lightweight. I throw it on over everything. It's long, it's almost knee length. And navy is my black. I don't really wear much black at all. I have so little black in my wardrobe. And so I just about had a heart attack. There was I have a little crystal hummingbird hanging in my window. I'll put a picture of it in. And it was refracting the light down onto my yarn. And I glanced over and it looked like I had a spot in my yarn, like a chunk that wasn't dyed. But it's just the light refraction. But I just about had a heart attack, like, no, I'm gonna have to dye another skein of yarn specifically for just these last few rows. No, everything's fine. I moved it and it's good. What was I saying? Black. I don't wear black. Navy is my black. So for me, having something that's navy and pink, oh, just like a no-brainer. And I can't believe I haven't done it before. Like, I don't think I have knit anything in navy for myself before, which is just kind of crazy. I'll probably go up and look in my hand knits and go, well, look at that and that and that. But off the top of my head, I can't think of anything other than contrast heels and cuffs on one pair of socks. Anyway, so I'm getting close. I'm getting close to being done. So that will be good. There is an Instagram. She's a TikToker, Instagrammer, and I cannot remember her name right now. I will put it on the screen, her Instagram handle. She's a crafter, and she's fun to kind of follow, and I like a lot of the things she talks about, but she talks about her yearly WIP purge. And so she's in the process of doing a WIP purge, and she went through all of her stuff. And this is in multiple different crafts. So there was some knitting, some crocheting, some sewing. There was mending. There was, what else was there? I think that was the main stuff. But there probably were other things that I don't remember. And she went through and found everything that was unfinished. And it was 48 items. Now, if you added mending in, I can totally see how you can get a lot of items, but she just piled them all on a table, and she is just trying to check them off, check them off, check them off, check them off. And I thought that was it's inspiring. And I really don't have a lot of WIPs outstanding right now. So I do have, this one. I've got the 3 that I've shown you. I also have a couple of long-term projects, specifically my granny stripe blanket, which I just kind of pick up now and again. And I'm okay for that to kind of be a long-term project. But there is one long-term there's 2 long-term projects that have just been sitting, and the one of them is my 2-panel blanket. I'm going to go get it. Hang on just a minute. Okay, I just ran up and down the stairs and I'm a little out of breath. So this project has been basically decor like this in my house 4 years, 5, 4, probably not 5, probably 4. Yeah, a few years ago, I saw Joji Locatelli on her journal, on Joji's journal, talking about knitting a blanket in this method. And I just thought it was such a great idea. And so I started it, and I knit the first section of it fairly quickly. I'm calling it the 2-panel blanket, but it's going to have to be a 3-panel blanket. Uh-oh, there's live stitches. Let me see if I can scooch them. My daughter-in-law actually works on this. She is the primary knitter recently. When she comes over, she will pull this out and work on it. And they were over not yesterday, Sunday, but a week ago, Sunday. So that's the last time it was worked on. And so the way that it's working, here, I'll show you the first panel. We're doing it holding one strand of either DK or worsted weight yarn with a strand of fingering weight yarn and marling those together. And it's just a garter stitch blanket. Each panel is that wide. And then we're just marling. So it's fairly simple. What am I feeling? Oh, that's the stitch marker. I don't know why that's still there. And then the idea is that the way that Joji made it was you just seam them together. And so you have 2 panels and you seam them together. Well, after we completely finished this one, started heavily into the second one, I decided I probably want a 3rd panel so that it's just a really good cozy size. This will be the width. Here, I'm going to fold it in half so you can kind of get an idea of the scope of it. 2 panels, it will end up being fairly square. It's, let's see about how wide it is. Get that measuring tape out again. So width, it's, just guesstimating, it's about 26 inches wide here. And probably about 50 some odd in length. 54-ish long. That's for the one panel. So if 54 ends up becoming our width, and then we do 3 of these panels, then we'll end up with, you know, roughly 54 by 70, what did I say? 20, no, I forgot the numbers, 24. So roughly 72 by 54. I think that'll be a nice size. So this panel is done. And it's just, like I said, totally marled randomly. Then here's this panel. And how are we doing on length here? How much more do we have to go? None of the ends are woven in on the second panel yet. We're at about 36 inches, so about another 16 inches to go on this one to get it to match the first one, and then we'll need to do a third one. But I almost never, when I say almost never, I mean, I think I may have knit on this twice in the last 3 years. It's been, well, that's probably twice in a year. Yeah. And so it's just been sitting, but Aria has knit on it, Abby has knit on it, and Tannen has knit quite a bit on it. She's been the one who's done the most of it recently. And it looks like, as far as what I've got in here in this basket, I need to add in some more probably greens and some reds for the heavier weight yarns. And then I need a lot more different colors. I've got almost entirely purples left over in the fingering weight yarns in the basket. I've got tons of scraps. So I just need to get them out and replenish the basket. But I was just thinking that is something I would like to also work on during the winter. I'd like to get that done. I'm not going to worry about it like a specific deadline. I want to put it into my rotation a lot more. The other long-term WIP, this one has just been sitting, and I got it out yesterday and actually started working on it again, is a bag, a crochet granny square bag. I started this, again, I don't know exactly when, maybe a year ago or so, and I crocheted all the granny squares and I put them all together, and then I just was like, I don't like the proportions of the bag. I don't know. I just kind of like lost my excitement for it. I just felt like I wasn't going to like it. And then ever since then, I thought, well, it just needs some rows up the top. It needs some more depth or height, however you want to say it. And so yesterday I actually pulled it out and I started putting in some single crochet rows here. And so I worked 1, 2, 4 rows in the white, and then I'm going to do 1 color of the stripe. I have a bunch of scraps of these different colors that I put in the granny squares that are enough to do 1 row around. So I think I'm going to do about this much. I won't include all the colors. I know I'll be putting the blue in and probably the either the orange, probably the orange. So I'll probably do this blue. I mean, I'll do more white than this blue, then more white than this orange. And then at that point, it just needs to be steamed. And then I'm going to sew a lining for it. And I purchased a strap some time ago, which I think will be cute with it. So I'm just getting it out and working on it. And it's really simple. I don't know why well, I mean, we all do that, right? Oh, here's my, my little hooks to put on that. So I definitely want it lined. And I think once I get it done, I'll probably love it. And I'll be like, why did I take so long to do that? This is one of my all-time favorite project bags, which I have used as a purse many a time. This is by Button Jar Studio. So blind. Yeah, Button Jar Studio. And it came out some time ago and I loved it and I really wanted one, but she sold out and I didn't get it. And I was okay with that. And then my friend Jules was destashing hers and I was like, yes, please. So I picked that up and I love it. So other than that, what kind of WIPs do I have? I have lots of spinning that I need to do. I've been having an issue with the drive band on my wheel and it's just, I just need to disassemble it, put it back together, put a new drive band on it, and it will be fine. I just haven't done it. Again, sometimes it's not just about the time, but the space in your brain for things. But that's something that I want to do this month and get done. Get the fiber that I've been working on that's in progress finished, and then decide what I want to spin next. So yeah, so that's something else to be worked on. All right, that is all of my making for right now. But let's talk about some shop news. So I had mentioned last podcast that the Anne and Gilbert sock patterns were now available, and you guys have been so wonderful and so many of you have purchased those and I hope you enjoy them. One thing I didn't mention last time, but that I did put on my website, and so I think hopefully people saw it. I mean, I know people saw it because I know a lot of people have been ordering it, but is I actually have the Anne and Gilbert sock sets also available on my website, and I had just forgotten to mention that on the podcast last time. So I just restocked them again, and they are there if you are interested in picking up those sock sets. There is another thing that I have had a lot of people asking me questions about past Hogwarts Club colorways. And so Richard and I were talking about it and I thought, yeah, let's go ahead and offer some of those. I don't always offer club colorways or kind of those mystery skein orders. I don't always offer those colors again. But I've had, like I said, I've had a lot of interest in that. And so I'm going to put some pictures in here of the different Hogwarts colorways that we have offered this year. And I would love for you to comment below which one's your favorite. It kind of helps me to know which ones should we offer and which ones is it okay to just be like, that was fun and now we're moving on. So if you have a favorite of those, I would love it for you to comment and let me know what your favorite is. And that really helps me. So we will be putting some of those into the shop coming up here in just a little bit. And we are discussing what we want to do for some special Christmassy or maybe even just wintry colorways. I'm not quite sure how, if we're going to go more Christmassy, more wintry, or some of both. But that will be coming up very, very soon as well because, 'tis the season to be preparing, right? I think that is everything I wanted to talk about. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you so much for all the kind words of support that I received after last month's podcast. Just the encouragement. I just appreciate it so much. It is a joy to connect with you. And I hope you are having a beautiful, beautiful November. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.